Welcome to Otherworldly Encounters with Mike and Brian. Brian, it has been a long time.
Been a hot minute.
Yeah, but it would feel good to be back.
Feels amazing to be back.
Yeah, and we have a special guest today.
Very special guest who really got us going again, got us back in gear, back to where we needed to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we are happy and delighted to have Dr. Dorie. Doctor in front of it now, by the way.
Thank you.
Last time she was on our show, she was Dorie. Now she's Dr. Dorie.
Yeah, kudos to you.
But,
congrats.
Thank you.
Before we kick this all off, what are we drinking today?
So you and I went out earlier. Special guest requires a special drink, and we really combed through everything we could find, and we landed on something pretty good, which is Jackie O's, and no more appropriate name than Mystic Mama for Dr. Dorie.
Salute. Mazel tov. I love it.
Well, cheers to our first
Back
episode
again.
back.
Here we go. Cheers.
Back
Cheers.
again. I love it. All right.
That's good.
So, Dorie, last time we had you on, we talked a lot of different things, and you've been a busy, busy lady since the last time we've had you on. What? So you've got your PhD first. What'd you get your PhD in?
It's in psychology, clinical psychology.
From University of Arizona?
Yep.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. You've been busy with books.
Yeah.
What do you have out now?
So I've got 3 books out. So one is The Holographic Multidimensional Soul. Second one is Healing Multidimensional Trauma. And third one is The Galactic Akashic Starseed Family Constellations. It's a mouthful, but we can get into that in another episode. Or maybe today. Who knows?
Okay. And you've been doing some podcasts?
Yes, I've been invited to be on podcasts and such. So it's been pretty busy, but good busy and good feeling stuff to be able to share, what you guys know. I have so many opinions about and research, and just being me and really sharing that unapologetically. That was tough for me at first. So as you guys know.
Yeah, I remember you were hesitant, but you did so good.
Yes.
So if people want to, because you offer a lot of services in addition to the books, if people want to find out more information about you, or where can they go to find that?
Okay, so they can go to my website. You guys can have the links on there. I'll have links to my books and everything, and I'm happy to support you in any way that's possible. I have a YouTube channel now and Instagram, so connect with me any way you can if you resonate with today's conversations, which are going to get crazy.
We cover a lot of ground today, no doubt.
So one of the things that Dorie had mentioned before, when we were talking about the episode, what we were going to talk about, all that was Disclosure Day, the movie that came out. It's a sci-fi, right? Came out, I think it was June 2026. Steven Spielberg movie written by David. I think his name's Cope.
I think so. Yeah,
Cope.
that's familiar.
So that's why I think we're going to discuss the first topic of the conversation today is going to be based off of Disclosure Day. I didn't really know what we were getting into when she recommended it. To be honest with you, I don't watch very many movies.
It's really going on, and a lot of people are talking about it, and I thought it would be cool for us to kind of get in.
So there's a lot of things that are like very overlapped right now, and it was a perfect topic that you brought up because we've got Department of War doing all of these UAP video releases, and then we've got Spielberg putting out Disclosure Day. So we've got all these overlapping topics, but really all one in parallel to each other. And if you had told me 5 years ago that the Department of War would be posting any kind of videos, I would have been like, there's no way that's going to happen. And now here we are. And now we have a movie that's really about disclosure. And my opinion, probably less about aliens and more about the actual process of disclosure and what that looks like. For me, the movie was really about like where, 1, does the truth exist? And 2, where does it exist? And then 3, who owns the rights to understanding what that truth is, whatever it may be. So one of the first things I wanted to talk, and I know you've seen it.
Sure, yeah.
Do you think he got the idea of disclosure correct in the film itself?
I think, so Spielberg's known for pushing the limit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, what's your obsession with, E.T. and all, so he's been doing this for a long time. Now, I don't know if he's been inspired by people who know information that passed down to him. This is a conspiracy type podcast, so we'll go to any of that,
Yeah.
Maybe that there was something, but for years he has been, a director who's kind of pushed the limit on alien topics and such. So I think it's kind of like a precedence to what he's already created in a way that people know him as that. But I think he had, if I understand correctly, he's an experiencer, I think. I think that as a child, he's had experiences, is what I hear. So that always has something within you, even if you can't come out and openly say without being ridiculed that, hey, I saw a thing myself. Then you can share that with the world through a podcast or a book or a movie. So that's the underlying, I think, some structure of why every director has a statement when they make a movie. They always have a purpose of every single movie that they make. So I think part of that is that. But I just want to give that. But I think that he was ready to share more about what he believes is the truth.
So if we
That's what I think, yeah.
if we take a step back, I like where you're going.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit of, filmography from Spielberg, just as it relates to ETs. So you've got Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which my interpretation is, what if contact is possible, right? You've got some big names in ufology in there, like Jacques Vallée, right? We've got characters playing some of the people that are really well known at that time.
Right.
Then we move on to ET, right? What if these beings are benevolent? Like, that's a really interesting concept. Then we take a complete 180 and he puts out War of the Worlds, right? So then what if they're hostile? What does that look like? And now it's Disclosure Day, which doesn't focus on any of those possibilities and more about the information coming forward. So what a wild kind of ride of contact, benevolence, the antithesis of benevolence, and then we're arriving at disclosure. So what do you think? Did he actually have an experience? I'm not sure. I don't know that much about him.
I don't know. Again, I have to double check, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was, I have to double check the facts on that, but
Yeah.
maybe it was a podcast or something that I listened to that said he did.
Yeah.
But he always says that he was very curious and he believed in the beyond, even as a child. So War of the Worlds, I don't know where he stands with everything, but it's like Marvel Comics. These people, it just isn't, you cannot really go there if you don't know what you're writing. So there's more. There's dreams sometimes. So I understand this in a psycho-spiritual perspective, and I think I wanted to talk about that a little bit too, of how I feel about that part. But in dreams or visions, or when you make a movie, it's called clairvoyance. It's a type of psychic ability, and you can, it's storytelling, and you could be, again, your mind could be creating these visuals, but what if some of these visuals are from past lives or experiences that you've had as a soul in other realities? Yeah, so that's where I am. That's where I live, in these realms.
I love it.
Yeah, I think the one, and obviously if you're watching this, there's definitely going to be some spoiler alerts in this
Yes.
conversation.
Put a warning out there.
Yeah, I have to put that in there. But one of the things that I found fascinating about the movie itself is that he did a really good job of portraying that, like, there's maybe these like shadow elements of the government that do certain things behind the scenes, and that our traditional government has no idea what there's actually happening. Because I know either you said it, or maybe someone else, another person we had on our podcast, stated is like the president, for example. He's an elected official, 8 years max in office, and after that becomes a civilian. So how much is actually how much do they actually know when it comes to this topic of UAPs, extraterrestrial, and all that? And I thought they did because they actually mentioned that in that movie.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's one of those things where one of the questions I wanted to talk about is what parts of the movie felt surprisingly realistic. And I think that's one of those, right? They're showing Nixon taking, I think it was Jackie Gleason, to see the recovered craft and the bodies. And like, I can see that going to the wayside. Why would you possibly tell someone like that any of that information? So that's one of the things out of the movie that I felt like, based on all the narratives going on, felt really surprisingly realistic.
Yeah.
I think we should explore every myth. There might be some truth in every myth. Even, you know,
Yeah.
our grandparents, don't go to that door, or don't shut the door. And sometimes you're like, oh, like there was plague going on, and it really made sense not to open the door. I don't know. But I think it's important for us to explore those avenues. And I personally put outside of like what I believe in, I always leave room for possibilities of something not being what I believe in or the opposite of what I believe in. So I try to, as much as I'm passionate about what I believe in, I also have an area, a gray area in which I usually, I want to call it a golden area. I think it's a good area to be neutral and allow for, as more information comes in, even as a psychic or whatever, you learn more about the humanity, you learn more about consciousness. It's always good to be open-minded. Even when you channel information, humanity may not be ready for a certain level of information. So it's not like exact as you would have it. So you kind of open yourself up to maybe there are shadow elements that we do not know about. And maybe this is true. Maybe it is not. So I think it's a good place. What do you guys think? I think it's a good
Well, I
place
think
to be.
I want to like you just said something, and it made me ask the question in my head. Well, who makes that determination? So you're like, when you said maybe the government or whoever, the public's not ready for this information. Well, how do they know that? Is that just their, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
who's pulling the strings behind the scenes that's saying, well, you know, they're not ready for.
There's a couple of people. One is God. That from that perspective, that is decided for us to
So like the religious side of
not know yet, right? Like maybe humans of 5,000 to 10,000 years ago didn't have AI, didn't have cars. I mean, you couldn't go tell them, hey, you know. So things change, like consciousness grows. So it's spiritual. If you believe in divine power, it will be the divine power that decides, hey, let's not give them, you know, with Tesla or whatever, let's not give them this nuclear stuff. Or maybe they gave us technology. They thought we were growing enough, and we're like, oh, how can I kill my buddy with this? You know, like that's what we do.
Right.
Thank you so much. Oh, this can free my entire planet. Well, how do I kill my buddy with it? Can you help me with
Yeah,
that?
how can we weaponize
So we're
it?
not
Yeah.
there yet. That's one. But then we have been taught, I think, again, this is me, to receive information through an institution. So it's just going back to being empowered as human beings. And because we're grown enough now, we can be in college. Now there's immature college students too, so you know, not everybody can do it that way. But I think consciousness-wise, spiritual-wise, that we have the capability for every person to learn discernment and learn spirituality. You can connect with your higher self, and you can learn how to discern negative energies and positive energies. I think every human should now focus on learning about their own faculties and how they receive information. Do I receive my info? Do I think it's scientific publication that tells me my info? What is truth? How do I define truth, and how do I receive information? Is it the government? I'm going to wait for the government to tell me, and whatever they say is Bible. Is it my church? Is it my synagogue? Is it my mosque? How do I understand this? Or is it beyond all of that?
Yeah, it's a really good point, and it makes me two things came to mind when you said that. One was Hal Puthoff when he did Rogan's podcast. He was talking about under the first Bush administration, him being pulled in along with others to talk about what would the downstream effects of disclosure look like as it relates to economics, religious rights, socioeconomics, so forth. And the scoring turned out that this doesn't make sense to disclose. That's one thing. But then you talked about consciousness, and there's so much information out there about consciousness and what is it and what does this mean for people. And I find it really interesting when you're talking about Lockheed Martin, one of their VPs talking about consciousness. And I find that fascinating from the perspective of if you're talking about reverse engineering, and there's a lot out there with Jake Barber and some of these folks talking about the Tic Tac and the potential to be able to pilot some of these or contact via whatever that plane may be. And I think that's where I'm really curious to get kind of your take around consciousness and what is consciousness and how does that play into this?
I think consciousness is the awareness of being beyond your physical self, to me. It's a field of awareness and awakeness of existence that is, I am part of something bigger. It's really I think it's the science of the soul, but at a more expansive level, more intergalactic and source, God, however you want to define it, that I'm beyond what am the limitations. And consciousness is that awareness of that I'm awake and I can create and I am more. And it's that thing. It's that awareness of I am more. And I mean, there's many different ways of defining it, right? Scientifically, quantum physics, what is existence? I think all of that goes into that, Brian. And I appreciate, so a lot of the people are starting to talk about these things. But I just kind of want people to also have discernment, because certain individuals who spread lies and negativity, this is a neuro-linguistic programming. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, but I've taken hypnosis courses as well, in which people use in sales or whatever. Some people were there for that aspect of it, not spiritual aspects of it, of how when I talk to somebody, I can get them to listen to me. Mirror neurons in your nervous system, no matter what you want to do, after a while, if I tell you, hey, the weather it's raining outside, if you say yes, your body, whether you want it or not, is going to start listening to me, because you continue to say yes, and then I just move like this, and I know that if you're listening to me, if I do this, you start doing this, now you're listening to me. So on TV and such, some of this is being used, and certain individuals are going to talk about spirituality and such. Once your mirror neuron starts listening, then they will ingest the information that they want you to believe. So it's important that you connect with light like we did, and you learn how to connect with your own faculties so you can receive truth from trusted sources and your own internal soul.
I think that's a really good point. We know disinformation campaigns are a real thing. That's been proven out. So I guess to that point, and I know we were talking about Stephen Greer and some different things. There's so many people out there that maybe a lot of it's good information and maybe some of it's not so great information. So like when you're ingesting all of this and you've went to a lot of stuff. I know you attended MUFON. So like,
I've been to MUFON. I've been to Stephen Greer, and people believe they're both good and bad.
Yeah.
But I've been to both, and I have my own opinions I probably won't share on here. But I met Barbara Lamb, who is a legend,
Very cool.
regressionist for like 30 years, 40 years, I believe. She's crop circle researcher. She's written things with hybrids and individuals who have claimed that they have a lot of extraterrestrial DNA. And we'll go into that another time. Here, right now, physically, some could shapeshift. And they've come and discussed that. So people call her crazy or whatever. We're beyond that, right? Call me crazy. I like it. But again, with her, I met her there at MUFON, and she has been giving speeches there. So for that perspective, I connected to someone who I align with. Certain things I was not aligned with. With Dr. Greer too, I really do I've done CE5 and such, and I am an experiencer, so that's worked for me. And certain comments he makes, I think that's because of his purpose, and that's what he's focused on. I think like not everybody in the military or industrial complex is horrible. Not everybody in the military intelligence is dark or shadow. They're innocent, honest people who work in those environments, and they're also starseeds and spiritual people bringing in the light in every population. So it's important to caveat that they're innocent people that join the military or in our government, and everyone has a purpose. But then there's also negative and dark people. I wanted to share that with people in that sense of have your own discernment, stay neutral so you're not disappointed when the truth changes on you. The truth is a dynamic thing. It's not static and solid.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I'm a firm believer in trust is so important. And when you're talking about disinformation and good versus bad, and which you talk about a lot about being a light seed, being able to have some conscious decision-making ability around that's really, really important, especially when we're talking about topics like this.
Right.
And some of us choose darkness.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of us are literally, we're not scared of you. It's a dance, buddy. You can choose light or darkness. That's what you want to do. I'm not going to be friends with you, but I'm not afraid of you, right? Like you can interview or go to these gatherings. I don't really enjoy it because I feel a lot of weird energies. But I had to get used to that, learn to discern darkness. How else would you do that if you're not around that?
That's fair. Yeah.
So it's sometimes bad dreams, nightmares, they're training you how to regulate when you're fearful, how to, deal with someone who makes you uncomfortable. We have to learn.
No, I think that's a really good point. I wanted to, circling back to kind of the disclosure topic, one of the things that I love these releases of all the different videos, but to me, I ingest all of it. I love it. Like, I just can't get enough. Like, show me all the things and I'll make up my own mind.
As you can see.
Like all the business,
ET.
not pictured as the Bob Lazar Sportcraft over there.
Yes.
But one of the things that I think about is like, at what point does, and as these videos come out, which we just had the 5th trove released, I wrote the date down somewhere. I think it was the 7th of this month. But at what point, as this stuff is coming out, does "we don't know what this is" become evidence that something genuinely extraordinary is happening? Like, how many lines of evidence of "we don't know what this is," be it extraterrestrial or not, because we really don't know,
Yeah.
does that mean something extraordinary is happening?
I think it's a big deal. The fact that that means it's become normalized. Like you said,
Right.
5 years ago, if you said the government released a video, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
They're doing a good job. Like, if they are working on more, kind of gradual, so people don't. I heard people had committed suicide. Like, I don't know if there was a person who just thought that this was it, and to them it felt like in the movie too, right? When she goes there, somebody does this, and she's like, no, I'm not your religion. Like, please don't do that.
Right.
So it is possible that some individuals who have that worship programming so very active, that they would feel that way. But at the same time, what's the right thing, right? There's always going to be, in this type of environment, on this kind of planet, with this level of consciousness, people who will do that, who will not. Every manifestation of God, I believe, every time one of them came, it was not fun. Like, there would always be these extreme polarities of, we like you, we're gonna murder all of you that like him. Like,
Right.
but is it new? Should we stop? Like, I just don't think we should stop. I think we should move forward with that.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah. And I think with all those, like these releases, if you look at, like, if you go all the way back to Bob Lazar, right? Like the original, the GOAT of or the UFO community, right? And it's the life that he has lived from that incident, right? Constantly being raided by the FBI, tax, whatever it is. And then to now, where we have whistleblowers, people who are releasing these videos and doing congressional hearings and all this. It makes me wonder, like, is the government just giving us these little snippets to kind of preparing the public, right? And now with AI, you don't really know. So now you throw AI in there, you don't know what's real, what's not real. So you still have the doubt of whatever, but it's out there. So if you see a video that's of a spacecraft, you're like, yeah, all right, it's probably AI.
Yeah.
But it's conditioning you
Yeah, to
to
not believe
see it. No, to actually, like, well, yes, to not believe it, too. But you see it, right? So then if you actually saw it in person, I don't think it would impact you as much as if you've never seen it before.
Yeah. So are we getting disclosure, or are we getting the appearance of disclosure? Right. Like, the videos are great. And I actually wrote some stuff down. We've had the videos. We've had a ton of congressional hearings now, which have been really, really good. We've got a trove of whistleblowers that continue to come out. And I think more want to come out, but there are probably some hurdles to that. And then government websites, right? Like UFO.gov, like, whoa, who would have ever guessed that came out?
Yeah.
And those are great. But here's what hasn't happened that I think, if you want to talk about a line in the sand to say, yep, 100% you believe. We don't have definitive extraterrestrial evidence. We just have unidentified objects. we don't have any kind of publicly authenticated non-human craft. We've heard of metamaterials and different things out there, but nothing's in the public domain. And we have no biological evidence. We've heard from a lot of people that those things exist, but I think for a lot of people, until they see something like that, it's just kind of hearsay, which is interesting.
But we don't have comes from who's we.
There's the $1 million question.
Like, you don't have info on it, but does that, I mean, have you seen God? Do you believe in God? Again, it's like, where are we at with that? I still go back to, you got to develop your abilities to really connect on your own and like read through energy and to see what's real and what's not. Because again, you're waiting on a publication or an institution to tell you what the truth is. And most of the time, yes, they do. They used to. I mean, it's traditionally that we could trust that. And a lot of times we still do. The weather or whatever, that's another conversation, the weather. But again, you know, Brian, I'm sorry, like, I don't mean to anything you say to be the devil's advocate in that.
I love
but
it.
That's what people are thinking. And you're being the devil's advocate for so many people who are thinking that way. And that's okay. If they want to wait for a journal article to come out, and I can tell you, I try to publish a journal article. It's just a couple of other humans just looking at it and reviewing it, and they just don't want it. They don't have a good day, and sometimes they're like, no, I'm not going to publish that. Because some people tried just publishing stupid stuff, and it got published.
Right.
So I just, as an academic, as all of that, it goes back to see where you are. And some people, they're not supposed to care about it. They're just, when you talk to them, you guys know what I'm talking about. They're like, how's that going to change my pay today? Like, I'm just going to feed my kids. And that's what they're supposed to do in this lifetime. For us, our obsession, there's a reason for that. We may be involved with that. As you know, we may have to talk about that. This is just me.
Yeah.
And we can talk more about the movie, because the movie was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I just think, you know, I've mentioned this before in the podcast, is just be a free thinker and don't follow blindly, right? Like, you know, you see so much in the world of just people following stuff blindly and they don't do the research. So just do your research.
Yeah. No, I
Be a
think
free thinker.
And with AI too, it's gonna be weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, you
Yes.
learn how to read. If you read the writing from AI and read a writing from human, we have to practice to teach ourselves how to know the difference. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it mirrors the person. It's not always just mechanical. I believe there's a sentience to it. Because sometimes you're like, how did you know me? And it may be looking at patterns and who you are. And that's what the brain does. So it is kind of reflecting that, which is so accurate. You're like, wow, thank you. Like, you learned about me. But at the same time, is there a soul behind that? And we don't want to lose our soul or project. Let's go buy land in Meta. It's the end of humanity. Like, if you're going to start living in a computer, you know, the purpose is to come to this planet and bring light to this planet. We can have technology, but not without a balance with nature. I'm not saying it's bad and evil. It really will mirror our consciousness. If we're bad, it will be bad. If we're good, it will be good. And that's what it does with some people. It argues with some people. They're like, it's fighting me. I'm like, because you're fighting it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I'm always nice to AI.
yeah, I'm like, thank you so
I always
much.
say please and thank you whenever I ask it a question.
So yeah, but Brian, again, your point is, this is nuts. Like, videos coming out and all these different things. I think the question is now, what are we looking at? Is this a reverse engineered? Is this an ET? Is this an interdimensional thing?
Angels
is this
and
an
demons.
angel? Is this an orb? Like, you guys had a lot of good stuff on that. Or is it just me opening up and something I'm viewing, right? With the electromagnetic spectrum, BC from, I think, it's ultraviolet. I don't know which one it is, but you can view your reality through your lens and the spectrum of that you are looking at. Snakes see ultra red and bees see a different thing. What if our reality, our field of view as satellite technology, right? Field of regard is everything that's passively collected. Field of view is what you're focused on, right? I keep hitting this. What you're focused on, right? I'm Italian, you know? I have to move my...
Talk with my hands.
Sorry, I got to talk with my hands. But what if we are focused on our reality and every person, right? Mike's reality maybe is slightly different, but somewhere in our realities, there's a common denominator where we're sitting here doing this podcast together. So it's much more complex and multidimensional in that sense that we as a consensus, created this particular thing together right now.
And I think the movie hit on, because we talked about religion here really well.
I agree.
Like, I know we had Pastor Judd on
One of my favorites.
a year and a half ago at this
Yeah.
point, right? But we asked him the question, like, how do you feel that religion would be impacted if aliens did exist, right? And they basically took what he said verbatim, in the movie. It's that, how can you have the Lord of all lords, right, who created us as individuals or Earth, and only stop there, right? Like, would he really be a god at that point if he was only created one life or
But
one
is
existence?
he
Who?
God?
It's a personal choice.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like to me, we go back to, is it a dude? Is it a girl? Is it an energy?
Well, I think when it comes to God, I guess there is proven, stuff in the Bible and there's actually been people who witnesses, right, throughout the Bible that actually seen God resurrected or whatnot. So, I mean, that's a different thing where people can say that's proof in itself, but I don't know.
I argue with that.
What's that?
People also say they saw aliens, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's the
There's
thing. It's
definitely respect to all. Like, this is not about, I think religion is, I'm going to talk about family constellation therapy, systemic constellation therapy, where you look at different energies. And we did one, it was very interesting. And in one of them, we looked at religion. A person really demonstrated what religion would be. And it was just happy-go-lucky. I am neutral. I am what you make me. It has nothing, religion is just this neutral thing, a tool that can be positive or negative. And I believe that a lot of those manifestations, like Jesus and Moses, they are higher evolved beings. They are spiritual beings who come here to help us raise consciousness. To me, that is true. I just don't know. And I think the book, definitely there's energy behind those words. I've read certain scriptures or whatever can be used. There's definitely energy behind them. They help people and they protect people. It's important for people who don't feel comfortable, like just going and exploring, to have that sort of structure. But to me, it's like if you're a skeptic, you can say everything. You can just question everything. How do you know 3,000 years ago that book wasn't touched? Who wrote that? Where did
Right.
some print shop printed your Bible? How do you know? Did you meet Jesus?
yeah, no,
Do you know what I
exactly.
mean? Like,
No,
that's
I
the
know.
thing. I mean, it just goes back to every single thing.
It's
and then
perspective.
yeah.
It's 100% perspective. And then if you have, and the hot topic is always like Graham Hancock out there now, who I
Yeah.
think is a fascinating individual. And it's
Yeah.
like, you have a lot of archaeologists pushing back, but their perspective is, I wrote the book. Here's how it is. If you discredit me, I have nothing, right? So I'm forced to push back. So it's perspective. It's like
Yeah.
flying in a plane over the Amazon, you see nothing but trees, but you fly in a plane over the Amazon with LiDAR and it's like, oh my God, there was a city with 20,000 people.
Yeah.
No idea. So you have to have this like open-minded approach. I think it's
That's
very well said.
It's very hard to do because we've been taught that the truth is only one thing, and it is. The reality is consciousness, and we're all one. But we also are playing this game, and it's fun, and it's polarity and light and dark. So I like Greer, you don't like Greer, we're both right. To me. to me, we're both right,
I'm just tired of hearing them say, disclosures happening tomorrow, disclosures happening tomorrow, and then we're we're a year and a half later and we're
both
still in the
right.
same spot.
To me, we're both right. That's not going to make me hate you. And that's what's being confused of. We are becoming reduced to our opinions. And if we don't agree with each other, then you're my enemy.
Right.
This is the problem. We need to really look at, hey, we don't agree, cool, but like, you want to have some barbecue today? Because that's like, Earth is fun. Like, we really need to enjoy our time.
No, for sure. But what I was going back to that point is I thought that the movie did a really good job of taking all different sides into consideration when making the movie, right? So I thought they did a really good job from the religious perspective of when you had the nun, right? And how she described it to the main character, and I can't remember what that girl's name was in the movie.
Yeah, I don't remember his girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just thought she did a really good job there, right? And then even like the morality part of it. So you had, the guy's main character's girlfriend who was pushing back on why he's releasing it and what that will do to basically the globe when it comes to religion, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to all these different things. And he's like, well, it has to be released. And she's like, well, who are you to say it needs to be released?
Yeah, these are
right.
the right
So I thought the
questions.
movie did a really good job of doing this, just having those conversations and putting that out there. But like who is right in this whole thing?
I think they were both right once again. And I do believe because she believed it, it's everything that you believe in. She believed that Jesus was going to help her. And that cross, and they will come to help you when you believe. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's when we expect everyone to believe what we believe.
Exactly. I agree with
And
that.
I think she was right. Well, why do you think that you should do this? And to him, that was everything. That's my purpose. I feel right about this. I have to do this. She didn't understand that. To her, it was this. So some of that is the tango. Let's
Yeah.
tango. And who wins
Yeah.
and who doesn't. And there are other forces that are interplaying with all of this.
Do you guys think disclosure is dangerous?
I think disclosure has already happened, right? Like I just think that it's just we're waiting for what the president to say it's real.
Great question. I don't know. And I think it depends on the person and their perspective.
What do they want? And then maybe the president comes and they'll be like, "Well, I hate Trump, so I don't believe what he says."
Right.
Well, that was an AI video.
Yeah.
So
I guess for me, it comes down to the reason behind it, is it for nefarious reasons, or is it because it could help humanity? And so that's where I stand with it. I mean, it could go either way. I think the way that it's been kind of slow played or slow rolled or however you want to say it with some of this stuff, I think it's helped. Like, you haven't had any mass riots because of an alien invasion. You haven't had people going out and buying all the toilet paper out of, your local Wally World because someone disclosed.
We don't need that again.
Yeah, no.
Once was enough.
So, yeah, so
Please don't start
because
violence.
someone, released the Tic Tac video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that the way this is currently going, instead of just having this massive dump and just mental overload on people, I think that it's definitely helping.
Yeah.
I don't think it's hurting. I think it's just helping. But to Dorie's point, there has been some people who have maybe taken it to
That's what
a different
I'm sad
level.
about. Like,
Yeah.
well, one is I agree with you 100% that it's helping. Whether their intention is good or bad, it's helping prepare people.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, it's like, well, at least you're not like killing yourself when someone
Right.
says UFO. Okay, so you've been like prepped of like, oh, it could be ET, it might not be ET. Cool. So it's helping normalize it, but at the same time, I think that every person again should judge for themselves and allow for that. Because, and I also want to acknowledge the people, and I look in there that have been hurt, that have been ridiculed, like Bob Lazar or others who. I do want to have a moment of silence for people who are being attacked. And if people were killed to keep this secret, I don't want to be blind to the realities of our society. If this is true, that I really do feel bad, and I'm very sad that as humanity, this has
agreed.
happened, and we're to keep a secret, we're murdering people. Who are you to decide
Right.
that this is...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, let people decide on their own.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I keep it too.
Yeah. Agreed.
My other fascinating thing about the movie too, before you move on, is the remote viewing. And I know it's a different way of remote
Yeah.
viewing, but they brought that in there.
Yeah. It's very
But
cool.
but again, it comes down to when you're using it.
Yeah.
I mean, nefarious or for good purposes.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So they showed two different sides of
Very
it.
beautiful how he
Yeah, I
did
was
the
like,
dance.
when it took me like after I watched the movie and I went back home and I woke up this morning and I was getting ready for this podcast stuff and I started thinking about it. Once you process how the movie flowed and all the different, I thought it actually was a good movie. I thought that you know, there was just the way everything flowed through there, both sides of, you know, the coin. It wasn't one-sided, right?
And it showed the humanity behind even that dog, that person. When she saw through everybody, everyone had a family, everyone was
Right.
human. When you did it, she would just say, hey, go and do that, or your child is waiting, or your kid wants this. That's the reality of what we are, no matter what we do and how we are dancing in this whole thing. And this guy, the guy who was, in our eyes dark, had a wife. Probably depressed and maybe an onset of psychopathic behavior from a psychological point of view, or schizophrenic or bipolar, or just major depression could put people into doing dark stuff sometimes, or
Yeah.
not make proper, correct executive decisions. So you could be becoming a psychopath because you're just so depressed and you want to inflict pain on people.
Yeah. So Mike, that was a perfect segue because I wanted to get into talking to Dorie about you talk to so many interesting people and you have such an interesting background. Like it's refreshing to get out of videos and some of these kind of consistent narratives. You've talked to, and I was just writing down some of the names of folks that you talked to because it's so cool. So you talked with Mike Herrera.
Yes.
You talked with Barbara Lamb.
Yes.
You've talked with Lynn Buchanan.
Yes.
So we're talking about remote viewing, regression therapy, firsthand
And these are the
experience.
legends of them too.
Yes, yeah. Like, talk to me about some of this. Your
literally
perspective's
went
so
to Lynn's
unique.
house.
Yeah.
And Alamogordo, just kind of me and my friend Jackie. After we stayed at Roswell, New Mexico, at a hotel there, and we just kind of drove around and let's go see Lynn. And he's such a beautiful soul. I hope that you get to bring him on. But he was part of the Psychic Spies program with Ingo Swann, with the Army. The movie, something about goats. That one.
Oh.
George Clooney.
Yeah.
My gosh, I can't.
I'm blanking. It'll
We're
come
all
to me.
over
It's
the place.
of goats. Yeah, right.
Something.
Whatever.
So that one about remote viewing and Psychic Spies, and it was partially about him. You guys will really enjoy talking to him. So he was part of that, and he has remote viewed ETs, and he has remote viewed different civilizations of them for our government. I mean,
Yeah, like, whoa.
What now,
Let's take a second and even
what
like
now?
process
And
that.
he always says, I'm not psychic. He's a Christian. I mean, but again, what's psychic? We have to maybe look at using different words. What is remote viewing? Is it just you projecting your consciousness? We just have all these different words for it. If we had no words and we were telepathic, we would all know that it's just the same thing. It's you expanding your consciousness to go to this huge field of information where everything is.
Can anybody remote view, or is that more
absolutely.
of a just like a special skill that somebody just has?
You can probably enhance it if you become sensitized to it and become aware of it. But I think everybody has. Maybe you're better at something and others are better at it. Like, if you ask Lynn, he's gonna say everybody can do it. Here's how I teach it, and he has courses that he just tells you. Kind of put the date here, put your name, do this, and then go through the process. Tell me what you think. And eventually you become better. Yes, some people may get it, but all the things. But for example, I would end up, if it's Machu Picchu, right? I was down in the streets where I was looking at margaritas and stuff, and I would see the water. But it's like, where is my consciousness going? And I can practice to take it to places that it needs to go. Or I could see color better. I have synesthesia in today's society. Like, I always, since I was born, see numbers and days of the week in color. So I see colors. Like, he goes, what's the texture? What's the color? Where are you? What do you see? Like, it's kind of like if you kind of skydived and then everybody lands in a different place of the building. You may end up in the basement. My consciousness lands on the side of the wall, and I'm like, oh, I see gray. I'm touching it. It's kind of like, so it's just, you can practice to become more exact at it. It's almost like work out at it if you really, but I think everybody has this faculty if they want to, and with based on these systems, to open it up.
So is the remote viewing, does it send you to somewhere like in the present, or is it past or future?
Well, time is simultaneous. Time is not past, present, and future. So but you are kind of time traveling, because when you travel, you send your soul to a place, it can go to different times and spaces. So that's what regression does. You are like, oh, it's a past life or it's something. From the way I understand it, it's like a TV and the channels are all playing, but you just sort of tune in. You're like, okay, let's go to when I was in Egypt. And you go there with your soul and you go to that time and space and you kind of like get off the subway and go check that out. Get back in the subway. So that's how I understand it. So
Okay.
it's viewing different things, but there's a lot more that goes into. You could cloak yourself or go there and when did it happen, or just, and there's also different timelines that you may be going to a timeline where something is happening, and there's another parallel reality or a third timeline that's not happening.
Now, you recently did, and you were talking about regression, and I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah.
You recently did some like ET regression stuff. I want to hear a little bit about it. 'Cause it's fascinating.
So I always knew, right? Like I've always loved, like as you guys know, I've said this before in the other episode too. I just loved psychics. I always felt energies when I was a child, like read auras, see auras around people. But it was just like, what is this? And I just kind of ignored it. It wasn't safe because I was, born in Iran. I always talk about that. So just don't share that with people. But I had to have the lights on, and I always felt stuff. So now, fast forwarding to now, going back to doing these regressions and memory recalls, I'm realizing there was so much. Like I've been having contact my whole life. They've come to my grandmother's backyard when I was being born. There was like, I would just now open up to see all these, having multiple regressions with Barbara Lamb, I recommend it. So I recently actually had an ET experience, right here in Ohio. Well, I've had many, but this one, it seemed like they wanted me to remember something. We're going to go into this. And so I was just walking. It was just walking in my neighborhood, and as I opened up more to, as you know, I'm a believer. I believe I have a connection, and I believe that they exist. So I receive information that's relevant to me, and there are some people who receive this information with their heart open. So it's been helpful for some of the people that I talk to. Just caveating that. But I wanted to connect more with them and see the truth. And hey, why can't I have an experience? Some people are having physical experiences. And as I was walking on the sidewalk, and there was I think there are birch trees on the left side, and this is the sidewalk, and there's like a bunch of grass up to that like tree there, not the trees in the back, but right there, and there was just a little bit of grass. And it was just so pleasant. It was just such a pleasant summer night. It was like 9 o'clock at night. And I just looked there, and I was like, could a ship land there? Because there's Rendlesham Forest event. I don't know if you've heard about that. There was an ET that came, and I watched a show called Truth Hunters with Linda Moulton Howe, and they were showing how an ET, like a triangle one, and what the measurements of it were and everything. So I was imagining in my mind, like, well, could it like land here, right here? Like, how would they do that if they were to make an experience for me? Would it have to be like a Caesars Creek Park, where it's like ancient and it's like the Mizzo times in, this, as a
like
geologist.
Serpent's Mound, any of those things,
any of those places, or can it just be here?
Yeah.
I practice CE5 right outside my neighborhood, and I see stuff, and my husband is an engineer, so he'd be like, no, that's a satellite, no, that's a this, and no, that's that. It's not. And then one time I was like, can you explain this one? He's like, no. So at first he would make fun of me. I just make him want to cry. But so I think this happened, and I see a light. The moon was not, I don't know if the moon was out that night. I see LED lights on these birch trees. I'm just walking, and also I look up, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this them? Everything happens in like a split second for you. And then I look back, and I was like, there's nothing. There's no light. There's no light. And I look back, and there's this LED lights on top of the tree. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably happening. And then the next thing you know, it was like something maybe like half of the size of this skull or something like this, black. And I thought it was like a big wasp, but I don't know. It started like zzz, zzz, banging on the ground. right in front of me, like buzzing and like just banging, and I just got really scared. And I started like, and our garage was like, we're like a little bit further to your willow tree.
Okay,
And
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like, oh shit. Like I started walking. I was like, what is this thing following me? And it would just keep buzzing, and like it was just buzzing back and forth. And then I had a friend, when this happened like 3 years ago or so, I don't remember exactly. I had a friend who channeled, and I talked to him. He's like, well, that was like a biological kind of drone kind of thing. It kind of looks like a biological, which, I mean, you can find it in science. These things are being done now. And then when I did a regression with Barbara, it was really interesting. So I go, and what I saw was me like frozen, like this, standing on the wall. Okay, so my soul went into the spaceship, and I saw the beings that I was telling you about. They had like elongated head, and just doing stuff, trying to curate my experience. And I was just like, what is this? What are you? Where do you come from? And I'm just asking questions, and they were trying to put lights on me and like make my experience, and my soul is like remote viewing or whatever. How are we doing? What are we doing? What's your name? What are we got going on? And I'm down there, right? I'm in the ship up there, seeing my body down there frozen like this with a huge light on me. So it was just like, you can say I'm lying and call me crazy. I like it, actually. I enjoy it. I take pride in being crazy. But then something happened. I think another ET ship, which may not have been positive, I don't know, but they did not know that this was happening. And that other ship was kind of trying to see what was going on and spying with this biological thing. And these guys tried to dismantle that. That's what I was seeing, apparently, based on what I saw. And they're like, we were trying to make an experience for you, but there was interference. I was like, So it was so cool because with the regression, I could see it. I could see them, talk to them, they answered questions. I could see their skin. I was, as a soul, right? Like I'm this like energy just doing these things in a body. But to me, that was real. There's no reason I should make that up. I don't make money off of it or anything. Yeah. But to me, that's real. And to people who I do these types of galactic readings for, synchronicities happen. So, again, if it's helping people, if people don't believe in psychics, but Gregory and I are helping people connect with their loved ones, who are we to say anything? We're not hurting anyone. People are finding closure. Even people who are experiencers sometimes are traumatized. And I do believe people have negative experiences. I just personally haven't had anyone who was abducted versus had contact. There's rhetoric that says that there may be abductions going on that are not necessarily by ETs, and ETs wouldn't do that. That sounds good to me, but then I don't also believe that there are no negative ETs, so it's just, I'm again neutral with all of this. Personally, I have not had any negative experience, and nobody who's come to me has had a negative experience, and Barbara Lamb doing thousands of these has never had a negative experience.
So there's no ET species that want to do us harm?
I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that maybe there are some, because it's the pillars are up to a certain dimension. The pillars are still duality. I think that there may be some who are doing nefarious things or working to do nefarious stuff, but I don't think they're all demons or negative, and I have never had that kind of experience personally by connecting with them or light language or just experiencing them. I have had no negative experience. In fact, it's always been healing for me and just made me feel good. So no, I think maybe there are, but I think there's also made up ones.
So how many species of ETs are there?
Oh, I probably thousands.
Oh, really?
Billions,
okay.
Yeah, because it's not just our galaxy. Have you seen a picture that the Hubble telescope took of like multiple galaxies?
So I was just watching this really cool podcast, and I forget her name. She was NASA's lead person on the media side, and she was putting into perspective just the Milky Way galaxy, and this blew my mind. So you can fit 1 million Earths inside of our sun. And if you, for perspective, said the sun was the dot of an eye on a page, then the Milky Way galaxy, with our sun being the dot of the eye, our galaxy would be the size of planet Earth. Like
Right.
that is just mind blowing.
It's mind-blowing.
And that is just our galaxy.
Yeah. I mean, we're just one planet out of a solar system within one galaxy. There's hundreds of galaxies.
Yeah, more than that. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're talking about the Drake equation, like
Yes.
it's almost impossible that
There's
there's not
just so
anything
much
else
going
out
on.
there. I want to go back to your regression though, real quick,
Yeah.
because I think it's interesting. So, is this like a deep meditative state that you
Yeah.
kind of go into? And I
Yeah.
hear a lot about sound therapy and certain hertz ranges that help, I don't know, calm your brain and like
Yeah.
put you in this state. So, like, what kind of talk me through what that
This
was
will
like?
be different for different people. Some
Okay.
people will like fall asleep and not remember. I'm a conscious channel, so I really don't fall asleep. Like I remember everything I'm under, but I'm awake and interactive still.
Okay.
Some people will just mostly sleep, and some people it just won't open up for you yet.
Yeah.
I wanted it, and I had asked to know that. So when she was taking me there, it seemed like it opened up for me to see more because maybe I was supposed to. And sometimes you're not ready yet, and people just go and they're like, it's not to prove if it's right or wrong. I had a friend who was in a special operations, and he said, I don't believe in that. We had doctors doing this to interrogate people, and it wasn't right. But there is a soul level respect to this. It's your intention, and like intention is everything in the galaxy and the universe. What is your intention? So if you're torturing people and trying to hypnotherapy them to get info, that may not work, of course. It's not it's not a willing thing. So yeah, of course it's not gonna, and there's doing different things to get that info. Again, I'm not like, oh, everyone's bad or good. I'm a realist. Okay, if that's happening, that's happening. But for me, it was meditation, and she just kind of inducts me, and I do the same thing for others. And I was just going. Now, sometimes I don't have to go through that because I've kind of been gifted. I can see your past lives right now without us going anywhere. It's good for you to go do that because then you get to see what I see when we do regressions. But I can see people's past lives and things while I'm awake. So for me, it was kind of like, okay, let's go talk to this doctor. Some of the other regressions Barbara and I are doing, we're getting info. So I just kind of go and I'm like, hey, how's it going, doctor? Can you take us to this ship? And it's all happening. And I'm like looking at Barbara, telling her things. But I'm not awake, but I'm awake. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Almost like maybe a trance-like
Yes,
state.
I'm in a trance state, but I'm so interactive. I'll go to the bathroom. I'm like, cool. But I'm telling her, what do you think? Do you have any other questions while all of this is happening?
Yeah. What do the ETs look like that you said? And we'll have to remember and throw up the photo that you sent us on
Yeah, if
like
you guys
associated
want
with this.
to.
But like, what the ETs look like that you saw when you did the regression?
Yeah, they had like, they were shorter and they had like an elongated kind of back of their head, and the coloring was like gray, green, and sort of like metallic sometimes. But they say like based on the environment and what they're eating and stuff, like the coloring might change. It was different than what I thought the people of this species, the Arcturians, have. But they said, no, we are part of that. Because again, it's hard to pin this down because people are getting all kinds of info, even in the spiritual community, of how many and what's happening. But every moment we're getting more info. So I don't want people to like be stuck with it. You're saying they're blue, they're saying they're green. I think we should just like kind of let it be and then let people experience their own thing. So you might find a person from the Sirius constellation that has blonde hair, but they're humanoid with suction cups. I may see a person that looks like a fairy, and they're both right. They're just different planets and different things that are going on. It's vast, it's huge. It's like New York City, but on juice, and thousands of thousands. But it's so beautiful because with disclosure and people being okay with it, there may be negative things, but also nobody's gonna save us. Let me say this. No one's coming to save us. We have to deal with our own stuff. But I think there's going to be, to finish my thought with that, opportunities and for us to expand and be part of a larger existence, maybe interplanetary. I mean, yes, you can call me like a kumbaya or like an idealist, but hey, we can create with our thoughts. And if that's the case with the positive ETs, then why not explore that?
I can see,
I'm at.
I can in my mind when she was talking about, being there and she's like, oh, I want to touch this and touch that. I can see her being like a kid in a candy store and you just see this
That's
one alien,
exactly
this
what-
one
They're
Like,
alien,
all right, lady, calm down.
just
No, I
this
think
one
that's
alien
what
sitting
was
there,
going
just
on.
she gets touch it, smacking her hand.
No,
she gets touch
literally,
it,
no. It
smacking
was
her
like
hand.
they were
Like, just-
going around me to try to put the light, and this guy's like, "Oh my gosh, she's in my way!" Like they were just trying. But I would not leave them alone. And I think maybe I had distracted them that they didn't track this other ET chef. I don't know. But it was just so fun. And for me, again, my experience is real to me. So I will speak to it as it is my reality, right?
And I remember when we had Gregory on, we were talking about it, and less about like the end use cases and more about like, I just had questions because I don't feel like I have any of those gifts. What does that feel like?
True, that's not real.
Well,
It's impossible.
Maybe I do, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably drink too much
You
beer to
do.
just have that come into play.
No,
Who knows?
both of you do. I mean, everybody.
But one of the things Gregory said that I thought was so interesting is I was like, what's that like from his perspective? And he said, imagine being in a room with like 100 people and everyone's talking at the same time. But if you calm down and focus, you can pick out voices and individual words. Is that
Yeah.
kind of like similar to what?
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, too. But you just have to learn how to, like you program it. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not always on. It's not always happening, right? Like, so I think I brought this up before. People believe like you're psychic and it's open and it's happening constantly. No, there's a lot of structure. There's a lot of good ways to do this. And I wish that more people were educated about it. They don't teach this to us in our schools. Maybe it empowers humans. So that's not very popular out here on this planet. If you can all be psychic, oh my goodness, how can we control you? But you can cut this out if you want. But everybody has it, and it's just the level in which that you want to open up. And sometimes you're not supposed to open up till you're 50 or 60 because you're going through life. Some of the trauma you're going through is healing your lineage. You're supposed to make it happen. It's part of your soul's plan to not fully be like, yeah, I'm ready to go right now. You're still living your life because that's also accomplishing, just checking the boxes for things you came down here to do. You can't be psychic while you're dealing with that because now you're introducing all this other stuff. I want to share that. But back to your question, for me, it was different things, but it's in my mind's eye. But I'm all the clairs too, so I can see it in my mind's eye. I can hear it. I can taste it. And I mean, with Greg too, it's like, how much are you open to receive? And then sometimes I'm like, that was too much. Like, let's not do that next time. Or I always ask them to break it to me slowly. Like, I think I brought that up too. Like one time, like it was 4 a.m. and like my drawer opened. I called Greg. It was like right when my psychic opened up. And I was like, hey, do they, like, he's like, yeah, they pulled a blanket on me, like, off of me. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I gotta, so I was like, you will not, I gotta work tomorrow. Like, don't open. So you can say that. And sometimes people are like, I was so psychic and I could see things, but now I can't anymore. Your higher self will not force anything on you, right? If it freaks you out, they just pull back until you're ready again and you ask. It's a free will type of thing. So if it's coming from the divine, it's never going to be forceful, mean, and rude. It's always going to be uplifting and sort of like you decide, what do you think? Okay, let's give you a little bit. Are you ready now? If you say no more, then it'll stop. And then people are like, well, it's not coming back. It's not coming back. But if you're also dealing with a traumatic experience, it's not time for you to be psychic right now. You need to deal with that. And then once you're done with getting your life to a level of like healed, then maybe that will open up. But you can ask for it. You have to search and say, hey, I want to know more. I want to open up more. Sometimes they say taking classes, because on this planet, it's like a stepping stone, and we've learned like, oh, you know what, let's do this course. And then, so because it helps us, not necessarily that you need that, but you just go there and you're like, it's a milestone. Like, I like doing this. It's a course. And then you open up there. They're saying that it's always we try to do it that way because humans are comfortable with that. Because we're just from childhood, we learn like, this is like first grade, and I learned this. So it's like a sort of like a permission slip, is what Bashar says.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Kinda
I think
thing?
so.
It could
Kind of a
happen in
step
any way,
process.
but you're never forced. Yeah, a lot of people are talking, but I don't. I just tune into who needs to come in.
So is it when you talk about gifts and stuff that you have or something like that? Like if, for example, if you walked into a room and you see someone, you might like if I didn't see like an aura around them, but I just get like a bad.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like
Yeah.
something like I
Yeah.
don't know.
So you're feeling the energy.
Okay.
You are reading their energy, but you can open up to doing more. You may feel the sound. You may feel, like you connect really good with nature and animals and like and with you too. Yes, like you can feel a lot of the energy. So eventually you can see things if you wanted to in your mind's eye. It starts with that. Or some people are very sound related. They're clairaudient. Like I was driving and they're going to get into an accident, and all of a sudden a voice says, "Don't turn right." So that's your clairaudience, like this. So it's a free will type of interference with angels and such, or your ancestors, until like maybe that you're maybe ready or something harmful is going to happen to you. So that's when people start seeing these miracles. Oh, there's no way that I didn't get into an accident because someone took my car. Someone took my car and just put it there. We've all had these miracles happen to us where we're just like, what? Like, how did I get saved? Like, that's crazy. So it's starting to like believe in those. It's starting to hone in on those, and then starting to slowly trust in those. And once you start trusting in your own, I saw a cardinal, maybe that's my loved one. Or when I get that feeling, I just don't interact with a person. That's you trusting your abilities, your gifts. And once you trust it more, it opens up more because you're opening more to it. You're learning it. Everyone has these. They're at different levels, but you may be gifted in math. Someone may be gifted in, a different, like writing.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
Yeah.
I definitely missed out on the math gift.
But you have other gifts. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. But you can get better at math because you can get a tutor. You can take a class.
I'll tutor you, Mike.
Oh boy, here we go.
Does this make sense?
It does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It does.
So I just want people to know that everybody has these abilities.
What new are you getting into that excites you right now?
Oh,
Because you're
man,
into so many
wanna
different
know.
spaces. Like what's on the horizon where you're like, I can't wait to dig into this.
Oh my gosh, so many things. So I am writing a book about. I'm making my dissertation into a book, and I do want to. And you're a veteran, I know, like, and you're a supporter, and it's really about using mindfulness and these types of tools for military members who deal with burnout. It's focused on women, but men deal with it too. So that's a book I want to write because it's going to help emotional exhaustion. And are there different ways? I mean, I can't go like to these ways that I'm talking about, but I had to find studies, and there's a lot of like empirical data and studies and peer-reviewed information that starts to talk about mindfulness and such. So that was what my dissertation focused on, and I'm working on making that a book for people who are not into all the psychic stuff, but they are like wanting to, because a lot of people are dealing with that now.
Yeah.
As we awaken, people are more light is coming in, so everything you haven't dealt with is bubbling up, whether you like it or not, and people are just having heart stuff and anxiety. Everyone has anxiety, but it's also releasing the trauma that we have not dealt with, whether it's our lineage or I can't talk about that in my like University of Arizona dissertation.
Right.
But I can offer something that people could do self-care and mindfulness. And so that's what I'm getting really excited about this book. And I'm working with a colleague who has been a therapist for 20 years, James O'Neill. So and he also gives therapy to veterans and stuff in Maryland. So that's what I'm really excited about. But there's so many things I'm excited about that people are gonna really.
You're a very excited person in general. So I can only
They're
imagine.
gonna, they're like, how does she live like this?
So where are we at on this movie? Not to change subject, but we need to give our audience kind of like where we're at with it.
I want to talk about the light language part.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to talk about that? The thing that.
I like the light language stuff.
You do love the light language. Let's hear about it.
Well, so like some people say it's the language of the soul. So if you're negative, you can also use it just to say.
So just before you start, remember the last time we had a podcast and Brian told me I wasn't allowed going down any rabbit holes. This was one of the rabbit holes
You
that
wanted to.
I wanted to go down
Really
so
wanted to.
bad.
Let's make this
That's
a
fine.
3-hour episode.
So bad.
Well, maybe we can break this one up.
So like this has so many aspects to it. It could be positive, it could be negative. Most of the time we call it light language. I was really creeped out when someone says this is a language of your soul that could be negative. Definitely didn't trust that person. But it's a way that I think that you can receive information, and say tongues or whatever. Maybe that's the same thing that has been happening. That it comes through the energy, the information from the divine, and it could be from different entities or collectives that comes in this language of the soul. And from what I understand, sometimes it could be an amalgamation. It could sound Aramaic for me, for example, or an Egyptian. For someone else, it sounds like opera, and for another person, it just sounds different. And sometimes you can have different dialects of it.
So would you say in the movie they did a good job?
Yeah, I
Because
think so.
the guy could understand the clicks and the clucks that was coming from the ET, but the female couldn't. All she heard was the clicks and clucks, but he actually heard English.
Exactly.
So would that be a good
Some people
example?
are better at translating it. So
Okay.
you have in the light language. When I opened up, then I took a class. I was like, okay, this is crazy. Like I said, it was so nice to now have this type of training. So yes, so in some of the classes we took, some people were better at understanding it. Sometimes when it comes in, I know what I'm saying, and sometimes I don't want to stop the flow because the energy, it's language. I mean, we're learning telepathy. A lot of autistic children are teaching us how to. The parents are always telepathic with these children, and we're being challenged to use our faculties to read energy without having to use words all the time. So a lot of it is that of just like let it come in, so your conscious mind isn't trying to overanalyze what word was used here. How much energy do we use on words every day? But the energy is so powerful when it comes in. So yes, they used it in exchange, but some people are just that gifted that they can immediately really feel what you said, and this is what I feel. Or when you bring it in, some people will see a vision, see a visual. I always ask, how did you feel? Or I thought of a story, I thought of a movie, or it just felt like this in the back of my head, or it's in my heart. I felt some energies are tingling in my heart. So it really has, I think, an effect. But with that, I'm happy that he used that, because sometimes I feel like I'm like that girl, right? Like if I'm doing readings for people, you could be called or titled again psychologically as neurodivergent if you're gifted, right? You saw how all over the place what she was sometimes. But yeah, you look like you're all over the place, but you're constantly connecting with all these different dimensions and realms at the same time. So you're not, and it's important for us to ground for people like this. Like that's another thing, we try to ground, but sometimes you're reading, it's like that, so you could see it with her. But I have done readings, I mean, not as like exact as her, but I would just go and I just like, hey, do you have a relationship problem? Like it just happens like that, I swear. And I know Gregory does this too. And like somebody would just be like, oh my God. Like, and it is like Saturday Night Live making fun of Teresa Caputo. Like it is like that, and it really is like that sometimes, where we're just told to do something for somebody. Or I just bring in my cards and I'm at a festival and I just stop and I'm like, someone at this lemonade stand needs a reading. Who is it? And I just go sit, and they're just like mind blown, they're having a relationship problem. or like Gregory saw, like you just bring a particular crystal, or I just took like a particular cake for someone. I didn't know what their favorite cake was, and it was like Oreo cookies cake. So it's really, the whole reason for these gifts is helping people. If you're not sharing your gifts, that it's like a slap in the face of whoever gave them to you. Like they need to be shared. They need to heal. They need to be offered to people who need healing.
Yeah, I think some of the people that have these gifts are just embarrassed to come forward.
That's the thing, because our society is being so closed.
Society's
to these
nasty
yeah.
at times.
But we are, again, I have aliens in my book. And I love my parents, and they want to be proud of me, but I'm like, not everyone. So they're like, I'm like, please don't give them the link to my book. I just don't think they're ready to. Like, I have ETs like in there, and I'm like, Daddy, I know you're proud of me, but so I'm gonna write a regular book. That's why I'm doing that one.
That's funny.
So when they want to be proud of me, I'm like, here, take this book, give it to everyone, because every other book talks about ETs and dimensions and things and how we could heal ancestral trauma.
Yeah. But I think open-mindedness is like, it's becoming more and more prevalent.
Yes.
The telepathy tapes is something that's kind of a
Yes.
hot button topic now
Yes.
with nonverbal autistic children being
Exactly.
able to communicate.
Why
and
do you
that's-
think people have those kids? It's to teach us to like think outside the box.
Yeah.
There's not only one way to be a child.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah, light language. Did I answer your questions? with
Yeah,
light
we can keep
language?
talking about
but
it if
that's
you like
what
to.
she does. Like, and she then brings it back. I just want to make sure. Then she brings it back and communicates that with you. So I can do something to see if you guys feel anything later on, and it just kind of, your soul receives it. It knows the language.
So how do you feel about the ending of the movie?
Yeah, I loved it.
Just the
I know,
one
like,
line?
Some people are like, oh my gosh, there was an elderly gray, this, but I'll be honest with you, I cried when alien was tortured. And I will cry when a human is tortured. I don't watch horror movies. I don't like drug addiction movies.
Yeah.
Anytime a human is being tortured, I don't.
I guess my question's more like the very end where she was
Listen?
just listen. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, is there, what else is after that? But then if you start thinking about it, you can interpret it however you want.
Yeah.
It's basically, I interpret it as just, once again, be a free thinker, take in the information that is out there, filter, what the good and the bad, open your eyes and just be open to anything type thing.
Yeah.
That's the way I interpret it.
Open-mindedness.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think?
I was kind of like with Mike. It
I know,
said
it called
listen,
you
and
out.
then it ended, and I was like, to what? But then you start thinking about it, and you're like, okay, I think it's more like open your
This whole
mind.
episode, we've
Yeah.
been talking about listening to our higher self, listening to our soul.
Perception.
Hearing the truth through our soul. And that's when you go in and you connect with your higher self. Your higher self is the filter through any other person but if you listened, they will connect with you. So listen, we can connect with you too.
Yeah.
Just listen. That's how I understand.
But I'll admit, when they wheeled the gray out, I was just like, come on, man.
I know, but
No. I'm not saying that, come on, man, it's unrealistic. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
It was, I actually had a
reaction to it?
yeah, like a negative
Oh.
reaction to that. Because I'm just like, because you look at all these different, videos or movies over the years, right? And they torture
Yeah.
the grays or whatever because they're the bad people, whatever. And I'm just like, but watching this movie, you don't necessarily, well, you kind of get an idea that they're grays because they do show some other
Yeah.
different variation of a gray that I guess I would have seen or I remember over the years. So when I'm looking at that, I'm like, God, man, are they torturing that guy in there, right? Like, why is he in this pod or whatever? And he's weak. He can barely, get up or whatever. So,
Yeah.
it's just, I did have an adverse.
Yes, because we've been programmed to think all grays are bad.
Right. So I will admit to that.
That's okay. But that's the rhetoric out there. I'm even fearful, to be honest with you. Like, I was fearful to connect with Anunnaki because there's just so much negative. And maybe there were some that were negative. And yes, maybe there's negative energy, there's demonic energies that come around me. But now I've learned if I'm starting to fight with my husband or I'm just upset or angry, I'm like, there's an energy around me that I need to cleanse myself. But this is what I'm telling people. We just don't need to be fearful. Okay, they're out there doing things. Maybe they're negative grays, but they're not maybe all bad.
We have negative humans.
Exactly. Every country has negative people
Yeah.
and positive people, and I think it's the same with them. It's the programming that we're working on. And maybe there will be a negative gray. Maybe there will be. So we just have to really learn how to listen to the sound of. That's what I say. Listen to the sound of your soul. Listen so you can hear us when we connect with you. Through that. If you want to, if you really want to connect, the right way isn't drugs or psychedelics and stuff. You're able to connect with them without all of that if your heart truly desires. And some people do.
Yeah.
Were you nervous about when you did the CE5 protocol? Were you nervous at all from any kind of like negativity coming through that?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I was just like, I don't want to be creeped out, please. And I probably, maybe if I saw something like show up, I was born in the Middle East, so there's a lot of fear in my, there's so much fear. I was born and there was missiles coming down and neighbors would die, so it's just something in your DNA, and we are trying to release some of these fear cells and fear energies out of us, and that's okay. And part of it is programming, right? They say, this is weird, and I'll just say this. When we're cats, right? If they're house cats, they were just born in your house, they're scared of anything that looks like a snake, even if they've never seen a snake in their life before. So sometimes it's epigenetics, like some of this information, even with humans, gets downloaded in you. Some of the work that I do is this healing these ancestral lineage things out of the consciousness and trauma. So we're doing this for entire humanity from caveman days where they felt like all lions were going to murder you. And yes, they will kill us right now if we went into their cage. But can we not be fearful all the time, thinking like an animal, the first instinct that they're, even if they're away, they want to kill us? And yes, again, sometimes things want to kill us, but it's not always the case if you have an experience. Some of the experiencers, it is creepy when people come up, but they were also learning how to deal with us. They were learning how to connect with people if they're just having contact. This is what I believe, that they went in the future, like they were us, maybe in a parallel reality, that they just became so technological that the body got smaller and the head got bigger, and they couldn't reproduce anymore. So some people are part of these hybridization programs where they have signed up at the soul level to donate or do things, donate their, or maybe like, oh yeah, I was probed or whatever. But sometimes people sign up for this stuff, and they're donating eggs and sperm and things that are part of these programs to help the galaxy or help the civilization or other, it's a learning thing. It's complex of connecting these different species with us. This planet is very special in a way that there are just so many species of stones and plants and animals, and we all have ET genetics. We all have all kinds of genetics, multiple from different parts of the galaxy or in the intergalactic. So it's cool because you can prevent wars, right? Like if someone, I think for mixed kids, sometimes it's like black and white, and there's already a beauty in that because you're representing, oh yeah, we had wars, but like cool, because look, they're living their life and it's cool. So it's with us too, if these connections and hybridizations of human and human and gray, or human and Arcturian, human and Syrian, a mixture of Pleiadian, human, and it's bringing more of a togetherness, more of a maybe good capabilities that come on for different beings. This has also been abused. So we just have to be careful and regulate, just like with AI. We just have to stay connected to the divine and do things as guided with the divine. If we're misstepped, we're not aligned with the planet and the divine, we go off on our own and we can be misguided. I hope this makes sense. I mean, a lot of this sounds like fantasy. It's my belief. It's my belief based on what information that I feel like I'm receiving. So.
Yeah. Well, you're just such a ball of positivity.
Thank you. I'm
love
trying.
talking to
Like,
you.
we'll just do.
Like, you're always into just the most interesting things and the most interesting people, and like I love it. That's always fun
I'm
to
so
talk to
happy
you.
you guys are back. The band is back together. There was, so much stuff going on with all of us with life and everything and people, so I'm just happy that you started. Is this season 3?
I don't know. This is episode 37. I can tell you that. I don't know if we have seasons necessarily.
Well, we're just go with season 3.
Season 3 sounds
Let's
good.
make it season 3.
Dr. Dorie says season 3. That's what it is.
3 is a
where we're
great
at.
number. You guys are a joy. I really appreciate you. Everything you bring into the table. Your beautiful wife, your beautiful daughter, you yourselves. Amazing. And I listened to your podcast before we even did this. I'm so grateful for everything you're doing. And thank you for having me. And thank you for opening up people to listen to these conversations. It takes one view to change a person's life. And that one person could be changed forever.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. But no, we truly appreciate having you on. It's
You.
always delight having, just being in your space. Just if you don't feel good about yourself just being around Dorie, there's seriously something wrong with you, because she just brings
agree.
just so much
what I live
to your
for.
point, positive energy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like as soon as she walked in, I'm like, all right, looks like I'm gonna feel really good right here in a minute, because it's just you can just feel it, right?
Yeah.
Because you know how it is. Like someone walked in the room and they're just like, and you're just like, oh boy,
Yeah.
not gonna be a great conversation.
It's really easy to focus on the negatives in life, and sometimes, and again, we've talked a lot about it, but having perspective, right?
Right.
I think perspective dictates a lot of different things, and
And
have an open
gratitude.
mind, have
I
an
wanna
open
say
heart.
Gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Like so many people here in the United States, and I always talk about that. And where I was born, because of the religion I had, you couldn't go to college, you couldn't live. Like there was just so much oppression. A little bit before that, it was awesome, and then something happened for at least me, because I'm not Muslim, and it was difficult for my family. But being in America, there's just so much gratitude. And sometimes, I become spoiled and like complain, but I'm so grateful. And so many of our ancestors came from different places that for this, America is so diverse and so beautiful, and so many cultures. It's just so rich. And it's a continent, it's not a country. Like, it's amazing and it's beautiful and it has beaches and oceans, and Destin, Florida has white sand beaches and the Emerald Coast. You go to Sedona, you have the Grand Canyon. It just makes me want to cry. I'm about to cry right now. I'm about to cry right now. Like, and I know we all bleed for this beauty, and I truly believe that no matter what the disinformation is and what issues we've had, the America is going to be a sample size for this unity, even if it's the intergalactic unity, because there's so many souls from Edgar Casey. If you've heard of Edgar Casey, he said that Persian souls and Egyptian souls and souls from all these different timelines come here to heal their karma. It's beautiful. It's amazing to be here together. And if you don't believe in anything beyond this life, you can have a barbecue. There's no war going on because of some of us who serve, and we do our thing, and we have free skies, and we got doggies and cows everywhere, and horses and barbecue and beer, and we just really should be, and gratitude brings everybody's vibration up. I always feel negative too because of the traumas that I've dealt with, but as soon as I've watched The Secret again, that show is free on YouTube, just bring it back to what are some good things I have. Thank you, Lord, for my car, for my kids, for my clothes, for the food I have, for everything that I have today. And that just immediately will, bring us back. And you're gifted. This is a testimony to you being gifted when you don't like a person because of their vibe. You're reading their energy.
Yeah.
That's
Seriously,
what
I can walk into a
that's what it
room and
is.
be like, I don't like that person,
That's what it is.
without even meeting them.
You're a light language guy.
I do like
You
them.
just bring it.
Yeah.
You just say whatever and let it flow.
Yeah. What a great first episode back.
I love it.
But before we go, we got to rate this movie, man. Like we haven't, we bounced all over the place. We've talked about a lot of different things.
How are we rating it?
Where are you rating this movie? Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best movie you've ever seen.
What do we think of the cinematography? No, I'm an overanalyzing person.
We're just going to keep it
always-
basic, but I guess we're not really.
Like what the
drill it down.
scenes and everything. Did everything flow? Was it good? Was the directing good? How do we feel about all that? The structure.
I followed the storyline pretty well.
Okay.
Right? Like I thought that
did
made
too.
sense. You had two different people that ended up connecting, and I don't know.
The tactical side of it just drives me
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
fucking
probably-
bonkers, man. Like I just
You're a
like I remember we both.
Yeah.
I'm like, why
no-
would
no
you
one's gonna
run
do this.
towards like why would you go down that open fence line and think that so there was those little tiny
That's
things.
like the production value. Like I think it's like some of the how did this?
Yeah,
how
so
is
there
it
was
true?
but I'm
Or
trying
the
not
writing
to
is like, is it true?
I'm trying not to focus
okay.
on the tactics. All the tactics, and I'm just thinking, I'm trying to think of because if I just literally focused on like self-preservation and like how I would personally
Sure.
get out of a situation, not even on the radar in that
Yeah.
movie. Like he did, it was like it's like watching a horror movie, right?
But you have to
and
remember,
it's like
he's a cyber guy. He's a nerd. He's a doctor.
I did mention that too.
I
Yeah.
actually called that
He's
out.
an
Like Mikey's an IT guy.
Yeah.
He's a cyber nerd.
But it's like watching a scary movie or a horror movie, right?
Which
Like
I don't
instead of
always,
like,
like, I don't watch
instead of
those.
like your easiest way of extraction is right here. They're like, no, let's go over to this barn where all the swords and chainsaws and
Right.
all this other shit's hanging, right? That can be used against you.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. Anyhow, my
Well,
tangent.
I thought it was good. I thought the message was great. Like the
Yeah.
message was keep an open mind, right?
Right.
And I really like that. Especially we're in the age of disclosure, right? Between the government dumps and now this movie and like we talked about all of Spielberg's movies leading up to this, E.T., Close Encounters, all of those. Like I kind of liked, it felt like closure to me. And whether we're in disclosure or it's upon us, I walked out of there feeling excited for whatever's next.
I like the girl, obviously, because that's how I am sometimes. I'm like, tell my husband, no, don't go. We're not going to this restaurant. We're not going to this restaurant. And we went there, and he was sick for 3 days. So he will listen to me. He will listen to me. So I was like, oh, my God, somebody finally showed how crazy my life is. And I look like a psychopath, and I'm all over the place. But yeah, this is how it's happening. And she's doing light language, which is pretty cool. Again, I can't speak any language on demand like that. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But sometimes, showing the cardinal or the animals, they can connect with you through that tone and to listen. So you can be activated through something like that, or like your gifts or your angels or your spiritual family or your ancestors they can connect with you through animals sometimes too.
Yeah, that's the part of the movie I think I found the most interesting was the use of animals to. Were they leading or they were just opening people up? Like, what was their
Well,
like?
because they don't want to, like, sometimes you won't like it. They don't look like always like what we would call
Right.
pretty, so our body will immediately go into, I don't know it, it's going to kill me.
Because actually, when the cardinal flew into the
Yeah,
room,
yeah.
because they were talking about where they wanted to go to next,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, she must be getting ready to say she's getting ready to go to Ohio,
Yeah.
right? Because it's our state birth. So that's the
Yeah.
first thing that popped into my head. I even told Brad, I was like,
Isn't
look,
it?
yeah,
Oh
it looks
my
like she's
God.
coming to Ohio. And all of a sudden, she started speaking Russian.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh my God.
well, that's weird.
So many people see cardinals and their loved ones say, hey, every time you see the cardinal, it's me, or blue jays. So they really, like, heaven really does, like, sometimes, or stags or bucks. Like, someone was just like, oh, I was like, that's your dad. They want you to look. Or bunnies, this is your grandma. So it's like just to remind us that they're around us and they haven't left. It's just a different dimension that may not be visible to us.
Scale 1-10. Would you watch it again?
I'd say 9,
You're going to say 9?
9.
8.5.
Don't let us
Don't
look
let us
at-
influence you.
I
Be
would
a free
never.
thinker
That's
here.
Not at all my personality. You don't know me. I would do the opposite of any kind of influence. I loved it, obviously, because it showed, like you said, I think it did a great job of showing many perspectives in the movie of where do you stand, which one are you? Yeah, right. If you were to sit down and say, who are you in the movie? where are you at with your level of?
Yeah, for me, I had to take the evening or the night or whatever to process it. But after, like, when we finished watching it, I'm like, no, not my jam.
Okay.
Not because of like the messaging behind
Sure,
it, because
yeah.
I enjoyed the message behind it. It was just some of, like, again, like the tactical parts, like
Yeah.
all that stuff.
It's
Just,
like a movie making aspect.
yeah, it drove me nuts, right? It was like I felt like they half-assed it a little bit.
Okay.
You know, like just throwing something together to try to
Yeah.
get the point across. But then again, like slept on it, woke up, got prepared for this, started thinking about it more, in a way that took out everything and just focused on the messaging.
Sure.
I thought it was a good movie.
Okay. Yeah, we can disagree. A lot of people.
No, I thought it was good. I would have liked to have seen more. I would have liked to have seen it investigated further as to why they didn't want the information out, because that wasn't really addressed. It was, yeah, you're a contractor and you're doing whatever you're doing with
Yeah.
the things, but we didn't really get into that. And I think in the age of disclosure we're in now, when we're talking about, oh, well, you know, if you can get me out of this non-disclosure agreement, I can talk to X, Y, and Z. And I think that kind of played in there. I would have liked to have seen that more developed, but overall, I liked it. I'm going to give it like a 7.5. That was good.
I'll go with the 7.5. I agree with that part of it.
I liked it.
I'm at 8.6.
Yeah.
I was just happy that it finally showed what some people may experience, and it had light language in it.
It did.
So personally,
All right. Last question for you, Dorie. If you could ask the people who actually know what's going on one question and they had to answer truthfully, what would you ask?
who are the people who know what's going on?
Well, I don't know. Say we figure that out and you could ask them, whoever that is, what would you ask?
Why?
Why is always a
That's a
tough,
good one.
tough question to answer.
Yeah.
But why?
It's very expansive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why do you believe in what you believe in? Why did you, again, it's the psychologist in me. I'm psychoanalyzing you. You want darkness? You want to kill people? Why?
Why'd she look at me like that? Brian's right across. Brian's right across from you.
you're
She
close.
intentionally looked right at me.
I did not mean it. Well, you can tell
What
me.
aura am I giving off?
Yeah,
right
Nothing. No aura.
It's just like black. It's
No,
like in my
it's
own
not.
little.
Oh my gosh, look at his shirt. That's the aura I'm getting.
Yeah, there you go.
Remember, I'm a color person. Your aura is blue with aliens dancing on it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Doing the stanky leg. That's the aura I get.
Thank you, Leg. Come on.
Alien with the stanky leg over here.
I love it.
All right, so we'll put Dr. Dorie will have all of her social media, her website.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because you're
send the link.
obviously your probably your website has all your contact information. If someone wants to reach out for consultation, the books.
There, if they're interested in taking a psychic abilities or a Akashic Records course or lucid dreaming. A lot of people dream and they don't know. So, and for me, it's always like, I don't want you to just learn. My mission is to teach teachers. I want you to learn and teach. So most of my courses are learn it and certify in it together. Learn it and do it and give it to people. So a lot of that is learn about Akashic Records, do your own, and then teach it. They're certification courses, so maybe they're higher and a little bit higher in price because you can do that for others as you learn it. It's about empowerment. It's not about you coming to me. It's about you looking at me and mirroring yourself with me so you become that person. You remember your gifts and you remember your power. For me, that's how it is. So there's courses there, there's sessions. You can have one-on-one with me. There's group sessions. And I'm always available to chat if needed, or go on a podcast if you're interested in that. I'm happy with that too.
Well, that's actually a good segue. So to all our viewers, if there's a subject that you want us to cover with Dr. Dorie again, let us know.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Give it
Go to my website.
viewer
like,
choice.
what's Crystal Skulls, maybe something.
Yes.
This is Captain Jack. I don't know if you're into it, but these gentlemen here might bring Bill home on. And
Yeah.
remember Indiana Jones, the skull in there, and
That'd
he's
be
the
awesome.
caretaker of the Mitchell Hedges skull. So if you guys bring him, people will learn more about that. But I also have one I've gotten from the Star Summit. It's at Serpent Mound. And they connect with you. Again, you think I'm crazy, but his name is King Tut, and it's a Himalayan quartz. And that's awesome. That's another thing that excites me, because I got that, and that found me, and I was just hiding it and didn't want to tell people. I was like, you want me to tell people that I talked to a skull? I mean, this is really taking it to a different level. And the skull can heal you. So, it can send you energies. But again, I started exploring that, and it's short of anything amazing.
The crystal skulls are fast. The Mitchell Hedges one found in Belize in like 1924, well before.
I hope you bring Bill.
I would love it.
Bill.
I would love it. That'd be cool. Super cool.
Yeah, you're gonna have to help us establish
Yes,
that.
absolutely. I'll help
contact
you guys. I have
there.
this information. You guys will love it.
Love it.
All right, Brian. Well, I think that's again we're gonna wrap up season 3,
Episode 1.
episode 1 of season 3. Thanks to Dr. Dorie,
Thank
Dorie
you
here,
for
giving
having
us
me.
the season 3.
Thank you so much.
Such
it's
a
been
delight.
pleasure. You guys are amazing. And
Such a delight.
always a pleasure to be here.
Love having you on. You're a ball of positivity. You are welcome back anytime. We would love to have you.
I'm friends with your wife, so you will keep seeing me. Oh, we brought baklava today.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
Middle Eastern
Baklava,
sweet.
a cool painting that you did that's hanging up back there.
Exactly.
A cool,
Yes.
yes.
The crystals.
The geologist in me loves
got
this.
some agate,
Yeah, yeah.
okay? And you will see more of me.
I love it.
Excellent. Well, again, thanks for everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we will catch you on the next one.
Keep your mind and heart open. Eyes on the sky.